vibes from my job. I'm giving you a little bit of content. The last thing I heard and researched from Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias, based on what Bob Arum said, is that he offered Teofimo Lopez 2 times the money that he offered him for each fight in Lomachenko and the other fight with Josh Taylor. He got double the money for each fight of those fights. Teofimo Lopez, he got offered double the money to fight Subriel Matias for $3 million. That was the most he was going to ever make in his career. So he was going to make the most money if he would have accepted the Subriel Matias fight, and not counting the pay-per-view, how well the pay-per-view did. If the pay-per-view did well, that would be extra money for him, not just $3 million, but also the pay-per-view revenue. That would have been going to Teofimo Lopez. If you really truly believe that he could beat Subriel Matias, he would have took the fight, because that was the last fight in his contract. It wasn't going to extend his contract. And that's basically what he was saying. He wanted to extend his contract. But then he says he wants to unify the belt with Hitchinson. So, he's a contradiction. He's like definitely a walking contradiction. If you're going to say that you don't want to extend your contract, then okay, then let that be the reason, if that is the reason. But the, evidence shows that you definitely would take a championship fight when you took the Josh Taylor fight, and you was willing to take the Hitchinson fight instead of the Subriel Matias fight, when you know that Bob Arum offered you $3 million to fight Subriel Matias, because he knew that a fight in New York City would definitely garner a lot of attention, especially with the Puerto Rican fan base in New York. It would have been mostly for Subriel Matias. Everybody would have been actually rooting for him, not you. So that's why you chose not to fight Subriel Matias, because it was too much of a risky fight for you. It was too risky, and it wasn't going to extend your boxing contract with Bob Arum. So that definitely proves that you just were scared to lose. You don't want to lose you don't want to fight somebody that's dangerous like Subriel Matias. I get it, but you should be honest and say that you didn't want to fight Subriel Matias because he's a high threat for you, and you think it's a low reward, but it's not a low reward. You're devaluing, you're undermining Subriel Matias and degrading him by saying that he has no value, when he has more value than you, because he sells more than you. His last fight, he had 8,500 people in the arena in Puerto Rico. He was the main event, and he sold more than you ever sold. The most you ever sold was 4,000 to 6,000 people. When you fought I think in the Hulu Theater, you fought the most you've ever, even the fight with you and Lomachenko didn't garner that many people like in the audience to actually, you didn't put like a lot of butts in the seats like Subriel did. So ironically, Subriel Matias has more value than Teofimo Lopez. He has more fans. Puerto Ricans follow him, and he has fans that are not Puerto Rican that actually follow Subriel Matias as well. And he actually had more people watch him fight for 2 fights that he had. He when he fought I think in Indianapolis, and also when he fought in Puerto Rico, he actually sold more than Teofimo Lopez. He actually had more people watching him. So you're undermining Subriel Matias so you could justify the fact that you're afraid to lose to a risky fighter like Subriel Matias. And in spite of you saying that that he has no value, he has more value than you. He actually got more fan base than you. More people in New York City would support Subriel Matias, and more people have watched Subriel Matias in the arena to watch him fight when he fought in Puerto Rico and when he fought in Indianapolis too. So the most people that you had watch you in the audience, the most you sold out was 4,000 to 6,000, not as much as Subriel Matias. So again, you just want your contract to end, because you know that if your contract ends, you can start a new. I got a little interruption over here. Yes, so you want your contract to end in July without taking any risky fights. You want an easy fight. He wanted an easy fight. I had some interruptions. You just wanted an easy fight to be your last fight with Top Rank, but Top Rank was offering you the most money. With Subriel Matias, $3 million, he was offering you double the amount that you got with that you got with Lomachenko and that you got with Josh Taylor. So there's no excuse. You just was afraid of the smoke. You didn't want to lose, and you didn't want to. You know that if you really feel you could beat Subriel Matias, you would have took the chance and actually fought him because you believe in yourself. But you obviously don't. So you felt like you wanted an easy fight before the contract expires, which expires in July 26th. So yeah, there's some interruptions again. Interruptions. Oh wow. Yes. So in other news, we have Shakur Stevenson, February 22nd. He's supposed to fight Floyd Schofield. The guy's undefeated, 18-0 with 12 KOs. I don't know too much about him. There's a lot of bad blood and a lot of back and forth between him and Shakur Stevenson. They think that they're going to beat Shakur Stevenson. I don't know. I feel like Shakur Stevenson is the truth and he's going to win. But this is an interesting fight because it's a natural 135 pounder based on what Shakur Stevenson said about Floyd Schofield. That fight is going to be on February 22nd. And another good fight that they're going to have is Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Berenchik. He's undefeated. Dennis Berenchik is undefeated as well. They're both undefeated, and I feel like it's going to be a good fight. February is going to be a great month for boxing. We got Floyd Schofield versus Shakur Stevenson. We have on February 22nd. We have February 14th. We have Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Berenchik, both undefeated as well. Two undefeated fight. Oh, actually three undefeated because we have David Benavidez versus David Morrell on February 1st. So we have all these fights, three fights, major fights in this month. Very competitive and very interesting. I don't know if the Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield is going to be competitive. It might not be. But we got to see how Shakur Stevenson performs against a natural 135 pounder and undefeated talent prospect in Floyd Schofield. I feel that's going to be an interesting fight. But yeah, Teofimo Lopez definitely shot himself in the foot, and I'm thinking that he's just going to wait for his contract to expire, or he's probably going to be with Turkish Al-Sheikh. Probably gonna, but how about if Turkey Al-Sheikh offers him the Subriel Matias fight for more money? What is he gonna do? That's what Subriel Matias mentioned, because Subriel Matias in an interview said that that he got the title eliminator that he wanted with Valenzuela, but whatever happened with Teofimo Lopez, basically Teofimo Lopez definitely rejected the fight. And he said that he's still happy that he's gonna get the fight that he wants, for a title eliminator. He wants to earn it, but either way, he was willing to face Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez backed out, and Teofimo Lopez manager was basically saying that Teofimo Lopez, he doesn't blame him for being scared of risking it all against a dangerous fighter like Subriel Matias, in spite of him saying that he don't want to fight a champion because it's going to extend his contract. But in Subriel Matias' case, he's not a champion, so he understands that he didn't want the smoke, and he understands that Teofimo Lopez was afraid to fight him. But at the same time, he contradicts himself because then he's willing to fight a unification with Hitchinson. But isn't that going to extend your contract with Top Rank if you do that? So he contradicts himself a lot, Teofimo Lopez. But Subriel Matias' manager basically said that he understands why he's scared of to face somebody like Subriel Matias. Is a big risk, and then it's gonna affect bigger fights that you could get, because basically, let's face it, Teofimo Lopez knows that his career is on last legs, and he's just trying to get the biggest fight possible. That's what he's trying to do. Got interruptions again. He's just trying to get the biggest fight possible. So basically, Teofimo Lopez is trying to get the biggest fight possible before he loses, because he knows that he doesn't have it anymore mentally, and his confidence is low ever since he lost to Kambosos. And he's just basically trying to live off his last victory with Josh Taylor and Lomachenko, which nobody's impressed with an inactive Josh Taylor going in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. It looks good on paper, but it's not the same Josh Taylor that everybody is accustomed to seeing. Josh Taylor, the way he fights. But anyway, so another news, we got So we got that fight, Floyd Schofield versus Shakur Stevenson, February 22nd. We got February 14th, we got Keyshawn Davis versus Denis Berenchik from the Ukraine. And I really believe that Denis Berenchik lost his last fight against Navarrete, Emmanuel Navarrete, which is a very exciting Mexican fighter. He's telegraphs his punches, but it's his relentlessness that I liked and I really liked. But he wasn't like the greatest defensive, but he had a strong will and very relentless with his combinations. Like he's very exciting for boxing. It's not like the high tech technical boxer or anything like that. But I feel like they gave him Denis Berenchik the fight because he's from the Ukraine and they kind of sympathize with them too much because of what's going on in their country. But I just feel like that's the way boxing politics is when it comes to Ukraine fighters. They give them the benefit of the doubt, just like they did with Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury won his last fight, but they took it from him. Usyk didn't do enough to win the fight. I saw that fight. Whoever thinks that Usyk did enough to win has to rewatch that fight again, or I don't know what they were watching because he didn't do enough to beat Tyson Fury. Like I think he did everything too late, and I think Tyson Fury really controlled the fight with the jab. He did a really good job with controlling the jab and the distance, and he fought the way he wanted to fight in most instances because the jab was like kryptonite for Usyk. I feel like Usyk definitely he didn't win that fight. I think Tyson Fury won that fight, and Tyson Fury said he retired. Okay, he retired. Okay, how many times he said that? And Tank Davis said to Shakur Stevenson, what has he done lately? Like, why does he, when they asked him if he was going to fight him, and he kept talking about retirement. And then, Shakur Stevenson says that what has he done? Like, like every fighter that he's fought, he had to like weight drain them and make it seem like they were like the elite status fighter when a lot of them were not. Like, all the fighters that he's fought, like Ryan Garcia, all these other fighters, Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz, like Frank Martin. No, okay, he took a strong competitive fighter in Frank Martin, but what did he accomplish in the ring? So, like a lot of stuff that Tank Davis does, he makes it seem like he's facing the elite fighters, but they're always from a lower weight class. And then he actually makes some weight drain. He's not really fighting at the same weight, and then the type of fighters that he's fighting, they're not they're coming from a lower weight class, and they're not elite. Like when he fought somebody like Frank Martin, he was an undefeated fighter, but what has he done? Who has he beaten? So it's a good competitive fight, yes. So Shakur Stevenson is doing the same thing. He's fighting 18-0 with 12 KOs on Floyd Schofield. He's fighting somebody that's skillful, supposed to be a talented boxer, but what has he done too? But at least he's doing the same thing like Tank Davis does, but he's trying to fight the best fighters out there. Oscar Valdez was a good fighter that he beat at his weight. And, I feel like he's trying to fight the best of the best, but it's not his fault. Shakur Stevenson wants to, but Tank Davis doesn't want to get in the ring with him. Teofimo Lopez doesn't want to fight him. Like, Teofimo Lopez has other business to take care of in the 140-pound division, so that's out of the question right there. But yeah, so I feel like the boxing this February is going to be a good month for boxing. Tune into my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. One love.